Irene from This Mindful Muse here, and today I am going to do an Akashic Records reading for the collective. Now, if you've never engaged with the Akashic Records before, let me break it down for you. For folks in the spiritual community, the Akashic Records are considered to be the energetic file, imprint, or record of everything that has ever existed. So every word that has ever been spoken, every thought that has ever been considered, every action that has ever taken place. The idea is that an Akashic Records reader allows themselves energetically to match or tune in to that vibrational location to then download information concerning that particular record. Now, when I'm reading for the collective, it's much more open, and I set the intention that I would wish for this record reading to reach those in the collective that this message is for. And so if I were doing a one-on-one reading, I would be opening your specific records with your consent. Now, to open and read for the collective, that is for folks whose higher selves can consent to it, that are open to receiving a message about the collective, right? About group energy. Let's go ahead and dive on in. I already did a brief reading for myself, and now we are going to reconnect and read for the collective. Here we go. So I'm getting the message that I am coming to the record saying I get the sense that this collective is feeling a little lost at this time, and the answer that I got is yes. And so I'm asking, what can this collective do to remain connected to their higher selves, to remain connected? And I keep my door open when I read to let the energy kind of flow, but it means that there's outdoor sounds that can come in. So the first kind of idea I got was turning inwards, connecting upwards, breathing. Our breath is our fastest connection to the higher realms and into our body, into our life force or our prana. There are certain kinds of breathing that we can do that tenses different portions of the body and releases different portions of the body. I see almost breathing and imagining if you were sitting cross-legged, for example, or if you were sitting in a chair with your feet on the ground, you would imagine energy coming up through your root chakra, which would be your seat. Coming up through your spine, all the way to the tippy top, to your third eye, or where your pineal gland exists. That little cone, tiny little cone-shaped gland that is between our two eyes and a few inches back. I say, okay, let's say that they are grounded now and that they are breathing. Let's say that they are connecting in this way. What next? And the answer that I'm getting is listen. I'm saying listen to what? And they're saying their inner guidance, their inner voice. The loud is the world is very loud at this point in time, and it can feel like it actually isn't a struggle to connect inwards in terms of like it's always available to you, but it may feel or present as if it is a struggle in the sense that you may feel very busy, you may feel too easily distracted by what's occurring on social media or on your phone or any other distraction, what's in your atmosphere, your environment, who's around you energetically, what's happening, how busy you are. And if we just take a moment to sit, to breathe, turn inward. And I'm saying it sounds so silly because it's so simple. And they're saying, yeah, it sounds like it's so simple that it's stupid, but it's not. They didn't really use the term stupid, but that kind of idea. They corrected me there. There is an inner voice that is speaking to you and that you are afraid to engage with. You're afraid to hear in case you're wrong. In case they/you are wrong. What if you misunderstand? What if you're making it up? Your imagination is a part of your intuition. You are intended to engage with this imagination in a loving, healing, supportive way. I know that I am personally guilty of catastrophizing, and it's saying that the gift of our imagination has been manipulated into being set up right? Like these neural pathways have been built through our experience on this earth plane for us to catastrophize or imagine the worst case scenario. And they're saying, what if you imagined that it was better than you could envision? What if you allowed yourself to ask a question and then ask, so to get still, to breathe, to bring the energy from the earth up through your seat all the way up to your third eye and to your crown, to kind of receive that beautiful white light up in from the top, almost pouring down you like a fountain. We're pulling the water up, bubbling up from the top, and then it's pouring down and over us on all of our sides. And it's saying, what if you got quiet enough to turn inwards, and instead of engaging with fear of what if I'm wrong, you simply listen. You don't even have to act. You can simply ask questions and see what comes to the surface. They said pay attention to expansion and contraction. So when you ask a question, does it feel expansive? Does it feel like it's giving you an open feeling, or does it feel contractive, like it's closing inward and off? And this you can ask your body to show me a yes, what does that feel like? And show me a no, and what does that feel like? And that could be in your internal world, or it can be a physical sensation that you experience. But learning simply to have the conversation inward. So it's sitting, breathing, getting quiet, turning inward, asking a question, and then waiting for the answer. And knowing that if your imagination can catastrophize and build these worst case scenarios, why not allow it to build you a projection of something beautiful, something lovely, something grounding, something abundant? Because in that moment, you're calling it in to your reality. You're calling it into your own existence. It's saying yes, and you can timeline shift, you can timeline jump. It's an invitation. I heard almost a ringing in my ear. It was like so immediate and then gone. It may have been just a confirmation of yes, you can timeline jump doing this. So I'm saying, okay, if the collective is now envisioning a beautiful future, they're saying really take your time with it. Enjoy the beautiful imaginings. That is a part of anchoring in. And then do something physical to anchor it in into your reality. It could be wearing an outfit that you envisioned wearing during this envisionment, this imaginative play. It could be journaling about it. It could be talking about it to yourself or aloud to someone else. Reconnecting before bed and reimagining this fantasy, this beautiful other timeline where a best case scenario is playing out and you get to experience it and think about what that feels like in your body. Feel it in your body. Allow your brain, the ego that will talk and tell you, or may want to tell you, that this could never happen, or that wants to rationalize. It's about it. It's not. It could be ignoring it, but it's more about give it something to do. So say, ego, I get that you want to make sense of this. I'm not here to make sense of it. I'm here to enjoy it. Can you sit quietly in a chair on the side while I enjoy this? So it's not completely dismissing your ego. It's saying, thank you for being here. I know that you want to rationalize everything. And that is in your nature to do. But you could also sit down off to the side and allow me to engage in this imagining. And it's just kind of saying this is an opportunity for you to connect back into that imagining anytime you like. Not only is this good for timeline jumping and shifting, it's good for your connection to your intuition and to your higher self. Your higher self is aware of every possible timeline, of every possible current, parallel, past, future life version of you, and can pull from the beauty that is existing somewhere to bring to your attention for you to engage with, for you to anchor in, for you to align with, for you to call in, for you to connect to. That's as much as it wants to give us, I think, about that topic in this moment. they're saying sit and stew in it, steep in it, feel the feelings, and then do something physical, which might be revisiting before you go to bed or thinking about it in the morning, writing a post-it note to yourself, journaling about it, telling someone about this fantasy that you had of this beautiful life that you're living, and do something to call that in this physical realm. So that could be allow yourself to live as that person for 30 seconds, a minute. It doesn't have to be that you have a full dinner as that person. You certainly can. That's a great way to anchor it in, but it's saying it can be simple and small. To anchor it in, it takes 30 seconds. And then continue to revisit so that you don't block it from pulling into your reality. Beautiful suggestions. I'm going to ask if there's anything else that wants to come up for the collective at this time. Some of the questions I want to ask about, it's saying we're not all ready yet, so we're on the way to humanity is moving in a direction where soon there will be a lot of conversations and truths revealed, but in this time, that conversation will happen at another time. Thank you. When this audience is ready to have that conversation. Thank you. I'm asking if there's anything else that this collective needs to know, and it says community, not build into community, but engage with, connect with, or build community. That will mean something different for everyone. It feels like an invitation for myself as well as a part of this collective. What does community mean to you? Do you have a space that you feel like you can commune with others, whether that is at work, with your neighbors or your neighborhood, at a community space where you gather, or a place that you grab your coffee from, a group of friends? And if you don't have that, it can be okay. There are lots of ways to connect with community. But now is a really important time. In general, good for humans in general. It's good to do. But it's saying with things that are coming, now is a really important time to build into community. To build into places that allow you to feel safe and seen and heard and valued. And if you don't have that, it's a really great opportunity for you to ask yourself why. Is it by choice? Is it out of self-protection? Is it out of fear? What would it feel like or mean to you if you were able to connect with others who are like you, or who could help support you, or that you could help support in this exchange, this give and take of building into a shared experience where everyone gets to bring home something that feels uplifting, that feels warming, that feels loving from the experience. So it's an opportunity to build into community in the collective, whether that's online or in person, having conversations that feel real and grounded, connected and uplifting, and truthful. All right, what a beautiful message that we just got. I'm going to thank the Akashic Records for bringing that through for us. I like to review my notes to make sure I'm saying this prayer properly. All right. So just to review, what a beautiful message we just received. This really felt like a very clear invitation that despite the distracting loudness of the world around us, that it's a really important time, and it's always an important time to do this, but it really is an important time, and you are being welcomed to get grounded, literally sit with your feet on the ground in a chair, or sit on the ground cross-legged. Maybe you're lying in bed before you go to sleep, and take a moment. And if this is new for you, then you can take your time. If this is something that you do all the time, bravo, congratulations. Remember to continue to do this and keep this practice. Building a connection with our intuition involves showing up. They're waiting for us to connect. They're waiting to be tapped in to help. Whether that's our higher selves, our spirit team, our guides, that inner voice is here, and we have to help ourselves to feel safe and connected and build the trust. The way that you build that trust is by connecting, is by hearing what it has to say and allowing yourself to ask questions and simply feel sensations. That's it. It can feel really scary or overwhelming or out of reach for someone who has yet to really start building their own intuition, because we can be so left-brained and we want to be analytical, and our current society really programs us and congratulates us on building that analytical side of our brain, and it can be incredibly helpful. However, we need that analytical side of the brain to take a break when we engage with the right side of our brain, our creative side. That part of our imagination is a part of our intuition. And if we're only allowing the analytical side to hijack that creativity and that imagination to catastrophize in worst case scenario, envision what might happen, which is something I'm very guilty of, something that I am personally working to transmute and release and to realize, take accountability for, attempt to understand, and then learn how to release. So part of that means using your imagination in the natural way that it was intended to be used. Allowing, knowing that there's a part of your subconscious mind, there's a part of your brain that doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. And so if we're using our imagination for worst case scenarioing, then there may be a part of our subconscious mind that carries that worry. So a great practice is to sit, get grounded, breathe. It immediately connects you with your prana and your life force. Simply turn inward with your attention. Ask yourself a question. Ask the universe, ask God, ask your spirit guides, ask your higher self a question, and see what rises to the surface. It could be a sensation. It might feel like silence. It might feel like a very, very dim something or a quiet whisper. As long as we take the time connecting inward and start to feel safe connecting inward, it allows that right side intuition to come forward, to know that it is safe to. So this is simply an invitation from the Akashic Records as an invitation to the collective. What is it that we need to do in this moment? What is it that people need to hear? What is the message that they need? And the suggestion is turn inward. Begin to develop that intuition for yourself. Begin to know what your inner voice says and sounds like and feels like, so that when it is so loud outside and we don't know what we can or can't believe or trust anymore, you've built the inner trust. You've built a connection to source for yourself, to God, to the universe, to your angels, to your guides, to your higher self. And the only way to develop that skill is to practice. So it is as simple as sitting, breathing, turning our attention inward and asking a question, and then feeling through what comes forward. The next suggestion is to allow yourself to imagine a best case scenario, better than you've allowed yourself to imagine. So really allow yourself to envision something that could even feel out of reach for you in this moment. You don't have to make sense of. Allow the left brain to take a seat, sit to the side. Thank you, left brain. I will allow you to simply be present or shift your attention. Please allow me to do this with my imagination in this moment. After you've had that imagining, allow yourself a full 30 seconds of it. You can come back to it, remind yourself of what that felt like, allow yourself to have a feeling, a sensation in the body as you're having this imagining, which helps you to anchor in a timeline. And then if you want to take it a step further, physicalize it somehow. Speak about it aloud, even if it's just to yourself in the car, or if you're journaling about it, or if you decide to physicalize it in a different way, like hold that sensation in your body again, or wear an outfit that you envisioned yourself wearing. Find an outfit. Go to an event, show up for 30 seconds at least, maybe 2 hours, as that version of yourself, as that timeline version of yourself. And it's a really great way to kind of anchor in using your imagination in the way that it's intended to be used to call in all of the blessings that are waiting for you. You simply have to tag them in so that they can flow in. You simply have to put down limiting beliefs that are keeping you from receiving. So let's begin to build our intuition together. And then the final suggestion was, before I completely left the records, was to connect with community. So where it's being shared that a lot of shifts and changes are going to continue to happen, and that now is a really great time to identify, do you have a community? If you don't have a community that you feel comfortable and safe with, why is that? Is it a self-protective mechanism? Is there somewhere you can go or that you feel safe going, building a community? Could you take one small step today that helps you build community, even if that's putting a comment in an online forum or showing up to a friend's event, even if you don't plan to stay long, right? To simply show up for them to build that community, or to meet another person within their circle that you might feel connected with, or having a conversation with someone in the grocery store. What might it look like for you? It can be simple. It can be very, very simple, but building that openness to connection so that we can feel safe building community. And if you already have a community, congratulations. How can you show up for others in that community? And how can you give yourself permission to receive when you are connected to that community as well? Ensuring that it is reciprocal, that it is a reciprocal relationship that you are giving to and that you are able to receive from as well. Thank you so much for joining me for this collective reading today. This was a really uplifting message of a gentle invitation to sit, breathe, connect, listen. That allows you to build that trust with your own intuition so that when the world gets wild and it can feel uncertain to know what is true, what is really for you, you will know, because you can turn inward and have a solid answer from Source, God, Creator, your higher self, your angels, your spirit guides. You will know what resonates and what doesn't, because you will have allowed yourself to get quiet enough to receive that information. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're interested in booking a one-on-one session, you can visit my website at thismindfulmuse.com. I have some incredible offerings right now that are for a short time, limited time offers. So please go to the website if you're interested in booking a one-on-one session where I would read your specific records and answer your specific questions. Thank you so much. I'll see you around. Bye.